Hello, Believers Church. Pastor Mike here. I'm out of town with my wife, Karen. She is at a writers conference in a hotel here behind me in Concord, North Carolina. If you would, please remember us in prayer while we are traveling back home. We would appreciate that very much. She's following her dreams and writing, and I think that's incredible. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and 30 minutes passed, 45 minutes passed, an hour passed, an hour and a half passes, and you're like, where did all the time go? Because you just were so involved in the conversation, listening to every word. I had one of those conversations this week with a gentleman. He's 94 years old. I've known him for quite a while, but I've never got to sit down and listen to the details of his life. You see, not only is he 94, but he's a World War II veteran. His name is Dr. Hodges. Most of you know him. We just call him Grandpa. He would begin to tell me a little bit about the story and how he got on the ship. It was the Yorktown. He got on the ship in Pearl Harbor, and there was the Battle of Midway, and then there's the Battle of the Coral Sea. He saw both of those. The first one was the Battle of Coral Sea, where the ship was shot and kind of limped back into harbor and fixed within a few days, which should have took 6 months. Then the next battle was the Battle of Midway. You see, Dr. Hodges was stationed in the boiler room, which was many, many feet below the actual level of water. And in the boiler room, temperatures could reach like 140 degrees, and you never really knew what was happening up on top of the ship. In the Battle of the Midway, they were hit by a sub, shot them, and severely damaged the Yorktown. And being in the boiler room, Dr. Hodges talks about how they heard things kind of get quiet around, and come to find out they had called for abandoned ship, but nobody in the boiler rooms could hear what was going on. So they eventually go up and they're banging on the hatch, and someone on the other end just happens to hear them. And they ask, are you taking on water? Because each of the boiler rooms were separated, and if they were taking on water, they couldn't open it because it would actually hurt the security of the ship. So his particular boiler room was not taking on water, and they opened up the hatch and he got out. What I didn't tell you was the ship began to list like 27 degrees, which is really bad. And while he was in the boiler room, he separated his left shoulder. When he did get to the top, they took a couple of life jackets. One life jacket secured this shoulder, and he said they put another one around him. But all of the safety boats had already gone. Most of the men had already gone from the ship because they were some of the last ones to actually get off. Since there were no safety boats left, Dr. Hodges said, I just jumped in the water. And eventually he said around the front of the bow of the boat or the back of the boat, there came one of the safety boats full of men. There was not room for him, but there was a rope dangling behind it. And one of the men said, hey, grab onto the rope. And so he's got a separated shoulder. And so he hangs onto the rope as they go to another ship in the fleet. It was a destroyer. And they got on board there. Now, what I didn't tell you was this. Dr. Hodges' brother was on the Yorktown also, and he was also working in another boiler room on that same ship that same day. One in one boiler room, one in the other. Dr. Hodges' mind was just, did my brother make it? Did he make it out alive? And I'm sure his brother, his name was Wilmer, was asking the same question. So from the destroyer, they were transferred to another ship, the Portland, and it was there that he said he was still trying to find out if his brother had made it. He said, I was just waiting for the bad news to come. But he said as he walked up through the Portland, he looked and he saw his brother sitting up on top of something. About the same time his brother spotted him, and they were reunited. Just an incredible story. But you think about all of our servicemen and women, those who've served all around the world, we need to be thankful for them. And today, folks, you have an opportunity to hear from a World War II vet, and there's not many of them left. They're dying by thousands and thousands every year. And I'm going to tell you something. You need to shake his hand today, and you need to thank him for his service to our country and all the veterans for their service to our country. I tell you that story because I want you to know that when God has a plan for your life, nothing can stop it if you'll follow his guidance. You see, you can be in the bottom of a ship, and God's going to use you. He went on to serve many, many churches as a pastor, and in so many ways, and he's literally taught the gospel all over the United States, different places serving, and God has used him in great ways, and I'm praying that he uses him this morning. I know he will, to come and speak to you. So I don't know a lot of World War II veterans, but I know at least one. He's here today, His name is Dr. Hodges. We just call him Grandpa around here. So would you please welcome Dr. Hodges to speak today?